Evolution. This is the biggest moment in the history of humanity, and it's driven by information. And humanity was living under an old construct, and it's not part of our lives anymore. So each and every one of us, we're going through an evolutionary process. And this evolutionary process, it's quite intense to go through. The evolutionary process that each and every one of us are experiencing, your body is feeling this. I know there are many people that are tuned in. You're going to feel this at an accelerated rate. And the evolutionary process is driven through the solar flash and the Schumann resonance. And as I'm leaving this message, in the past 4 days, we had 2 X-class solar flares and a barrage of M-class solar flares. There have been spikes in the Schumann resonance, and the lights and the sounds are activating and changing us from the inside. And when each and every one of us change on the inside, the outer world is going to change as a result of that. So where we were as a species, where humanity as a whole was living through a construct that is no longer valid. Some people will continue to go forward with that old construct, but it can't last overall. Regardless of the distractions that you will see on TV, I'm giving divine signs. I'm getting a distraction that pops up right now, and that gives the confirmation. If you block out the distractions, I did a very powerful video discussing how the energy of the sun has changed post 2012. If you recall in your head, there was a lot of depictions on the TV, on movies. 2012, there was a lot of fear. It's the end of the world. And when you are put in a fear-based vibration, I'm going to go very deep into the solar plexus today. You could get the beautiful yellows and oranges going. When you are put into fear, you're kind of numb to these upgrades, and there will be people that are plugged into nature, that are tuned into God, which is the source, the true source of the universe, not the fake one. And then there are people that are plugged into the matrix. That was yesterday's lesson. If you missed that one, you could check it out at the end of this one. But in today's lesson, I will be discussing the current signs and symptoms because this is the major event that we've been waiting for. There's a lot of information in this podcast today. We're going to focus on the solar plexus. Okay, we're going to talk about a specific point where the whole system switches over. We're going to discuss the Helio-Gnostics, which were actually the original Christians. A lot of things have been hijacked over the past, few centuries. All right, we're going to talk about Gnostic and knowledge. We're going to understand that the sun is the driving force of information, which is the light codes. We're going to be talking about electromagnetism and what magnetism represents, what electricity represents. We're going to be talking about programs, what was the norm, and certain things like how the sun drives your hormones, your metabolism, your skin. All the truth is going to be coming out in today's podcast. I appreciate everyone coming on, and your mitochondria. So what we do here, if you're new, we break down the science and the spirituality of the deep changes. If you're new to the channel, I'm Michael. I discuss the ascension journey, and I make these lessons relevant for everyday life people, because everyone in the world is going to be experiencing this massive upgrade right now. Grateful if you click the like button. We're live on the podcast, and other people will be able to hear this over the next few days, and it's always going to be relevant, because there's no finish line to this. The driving force is information. And we're receiving the information, the codes from the sun. As you see that beautiful depiction, when you don't maybe see it with your eyes, you see the light codes coming down, it's activating your DNA receptors. 93% of the function of DNA is responsible for light and sound reception and transmission. So there's people that are under the modality that they have junk DNA, and then there's you that's focused on this message today. Remember, the biology of belief, Dr. Bruce Lipton gave us that. So if you believe that you're junk DNA, you're going to go one way. And if you believe that you're a creator being, you believe that you're connected to God, you're not connected to the matrix, people are going to have a very different experience in the upcoming year. Remember that this year is going to be really dictating your next 30 years. So it's important you click subscribe to this channel, and I'm going to help guide you through this massive shift in the history of humanity. In the past energies that we've been going through. So what is the driving forces? We have the solar flash energy. So we had really in the past 4 days, 2 X-class solar flares, barrage of M-class solar flares, the Schumann resonance, which is the frequency and the cavity that we live in. The cavity is produced from the surface of the earth. You see that beautiful energy coming off the surface of the earth. That's why I keep telling people, sometimes I see out on the beach, grounding on a daily basis, barefoot in nature is going to help you. All right, so that cavity is produced from the surface of the earth up to the beautiful dome over our head known as the ionosphere or the firmament, whatever modality you like to choose. But we are within this cavity and it cannot be ignored. Some people choose to ignore the ionosphere or the firmament and the Schumann resonance. As depicted in yesterday's lesson, there are people that are tuned into the Schumann resonance, and then there are people that are tuned into the matrix. Which one are you? Let us know in the comments. Okay. So recently, a lot of shifts in the eyes. All right. This has been the first time in over 70 days that we've had so much solar activity. So maybe you're experiencing, shifts in the eyes, okay? The spine, all right? When you think of your spine as the receiver, and there's a lot of energy that's going up and down the spinal column at this time, and the main focus for the lesson is the stomach. You could be experiencing a lot within the stomach. And this is a driving force for this massive evolutionary process, the solar plexus. So if you're on this today, you're going through this shift, your solar plexus has to have a total open. And we could see this from different lenses. When you have these X-class solar flares, I saw in the previous week, once again, my stomach swelled up. And again, I'm a person that's very active, and I share, it's not always about abs. We go through these shifts and I could see a lot of swelling, that maybe is not there, in recent times. Do you know your point of homeostasis? When you have these energies, the body tends to hold on to additional water. During these shifts, maybe you have to go to the bathroom a little bit extra after the shift, okay? So we do tend to hold on to water, extra water, around the organs during the time period, and then sometimes you could see the shift. You might have to pee a little bit extra, okay? That's just how it is. All right. So the solar plexus represents our self-worth, okay? And that's the driving force that we've been learning on this channel. When you're worthy, you lift the hammer. I have a very big hammer. And if you are changing your system to self-worth, let's take a sip here. When you're changing your system and now you have self-worth, it's about freedom and the control system of the world. A lot of people have woken up to that. Well, the control system of the world, how they root into you, which I just described a different way in yesterday's video, okay? It's not just like you're literally plugged in, but it's a control system. It's actually wired within your solar plexus. So the connection to the control system of the world is being dismantled at this time through your solar plexus. It's such an important episode today, okay? And the driving force is information. The driving force is the truth. Okay, and the more you are connected to truth, the more you have information. Light is information. One of the ways I could teach this to people that are new, if you're in a room that you don't know how to navigate and it's dark and you have no light, you could trip over the coffee table, the chair. But if you turn the lights on, then you have the information to navigate through. So the driving force right now is the sun. The driving force is giving us the codes and the information. And there is a point, there is a pivotal moment that's happening. It's happening at an individual level, and then it goes out to society as a whole. The point where the truth becomes more important than the safety of staying silent. So when you go on this journey, you will see the NPCs of the world, the gaslighters, the people that want to, and they taught you this in the Matrix. There's the robots out there. There's the NPCs. They want to deny it. We've already passed that. We don't have time to live small. I got to learn how to improve my everyday life. I have to learn how to grow and expand, and I can't live my life small any longer. Can't do it any longer. So there is a point, this is happening right now, the point where the truth becomes more important than the safety of staying silent. So when they just bark and yap and you kind of go in your shell, the lions are roaring in the chat right now, okay? That point, and that's your self-worth, and that's your connection to God. That point where the truth becomes more important of the safety of staying silent and quiet. Oh, that's where the shift, that's where the magic happens. That's where humanity as a whole. That's why when you live in truth, when you live in authenticity, you actually give your brothers and sisters the drive that they could actually live in truth. They could live in happiness as well. Okay? So, and this is, listen, it's no one's fault. This was the Matrix construct of the flow of information. We've reached a place in the world right now where it's free will. So some people will go one way and some people will go another way. All right. So it's your job, as it was my job. You were presented with the information, right? So it's free will. And you could go with God, or you could go with the Matrix. You could go with your self-worth, or you could be the victim in the cog in the Matrix, and you could go to Agent Smith. You could see him. Okay. So there has been a lot of programming. People were programmed, stay out of the sun. The sun is a terrible thing. So it's literally the driving force of everything that is existence in this world that we live in, okay, is the importance of the sun. If you have a good relationship with the sun, okay, you're going to be moving forward. But again, it's all according. And if you want to dive into this, like where's the science of this? Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about the biology of belief. What is your belief system? That's the program running in the background. So that program can make you worse off, or it can make you better off. And you could be in tune with nature and God, or you could go to the Matrix. You choose. Years ago, the original Christians were known as Helio-Gnostics. Okay, and the sun is the primary intelligence of everything here. Did you know that? Okay, and that's the light codes that are coming down. And then a lot of people have woken up, okay? You know about Gnosticism or the Gnostics, okay? And the word Gnostics or gnosis means knowledge. Light is information. Light is knowledge. What are the codes that your trillions of cells at 1.4 volts are operating out of? This is such an powerful message for the now moment, right? So what are your trillions of cells? What's the information? And a lot of you know this, over the course of maybe, in the past, they would say 7 years, you swap out all your cells. You're getting information, how to replicate the cells, to adapt We have to adapt to the new energies, the new Schumann resonance frequencies, right? Those that have been tracking the Schumann resonance over the past few years. Is that you? How you doing? Right? So we have to adapt to this new frequency. So at an accelerated rate, we had to swap out our cells. And I've shared about this. You could click subscribe. I teach you, I show you from my journey. I tap into autophagy. Right? Fasting has been a very pivotal role. We got to get rid of all the old cells. We got to swap them out. We got to get the new cells in order to live in this new world that we're in, a whole new world, baby. And this is part of it. Okay? And these are the rhythms, the ebbs and flows, the hermetic principle of rhythm. All right? So as we are now, we're going through an evolutionary process. Okay, so and it's driven by light and electromagnetism. And Nikola Tesla said electromagnetism is a much more relevant force than maybe is depicted by the TV. Okay, electromagnetism. Magnetism is spiritual. Electricity is physical. And that is the merging. That's the both of these powers and energies for you to exist. And that's actually in spirituality, the merging of the divine masculine, divine feminine. These are not just, as I am the divine masculine, I also embody the divine feminine energies within me. You have to understand this. It doesn't mean if you're a boy or a girl. Okay, so these are the balance. So you also have to have electromagnetism is the overall balance. Okay. Now, there are things to go deeper into this lesson to really see how these things affect us. The sun it plays a very pivotal role. It plays a pivotal role in balancing our hormones. If a person, and this is also known as nature's deficit disorder in the modern world, people they're beaten down. They got to pay the bills. They put on their rubber soles. They go in the cubicle, and they're never out in nature. They're never out in the sun. And as the world begins to change at a rapid pace, I told you, you will have to leave the matrix behind. It's the only way to survive this. And I know there's a lot of people, some of you talk to me in person, and you can't do the matrix life anymore. And it's going to get higher and higher. The intensity's higher and higher. It's not a bad thing, but this is where if you hold on to the old way, it gets worse and worse. But when you dislodge from it, and you go with this new energy and you implement these new things, right? Your metabolism is heightened and driven by the sun. Your skin repair is driven by the sun, and your sleep patterns. So we actually want to intake sun throughout the day, and then we actually want to go into darkness at night. You got to go into the bear cave at night. I do utilize blue blockers. The modern society does affect us. For example, at the nighttime, in the Fortress of Solitude, I just have a salt lamp on. Very dim lights, use the blue blockers to do my work that I have to do in the evening. So we do want to mitigate the amount of blue light from the screens, from the devices in the evening. We are integrating the sunlight throughout the day. And just like you would eat different foods, I'm also eating a lot less food as I get more in tune with nature. And it's also the amount of micronutrients. So I can eat less food because you're getting a lot of people, like say, for example, if they're eating donuts and all this other stuff, you're eating a lot of empty calories with no nutrients, and a person is still hungry because ultimately your body is giving you hunger, and that's the signal that we need nutrients, micronutrients. All right, a lot of people ask me about my diet. Okay, you click subscribe. You can watch some of that and let me know if you want more future videos on this. However, you can diet, you could work out, and you could take all these things that they want to give you. However, if you do not do sunlight and grounding, and the representation of this is the sun, the solar flash, and the Schumann resonance spikes, there is nothing that it's exponentially greater for you. Now that doesn't mean I don't go to the gym. I don't do exercises. I don't eat healthy food. I do all those things. But the concept, because we have to realize we are electrical prior to us being chemical. All right, so there's chemical processes that are happening in the body. A lot of you know this, and the vitamin D, right? You're not actually taking the supplement. Many people that are on this today, you know that the vitamin D, say from the sun, is actually more beneficial. You could take all of the supplement vitamin Ds, and it's just not the same. All right, I use the term, it comes from a different place. It really does come from a different place. And, you could see the glowing of the vitamin D, all right? And that energy that comes from light is going to be much stronger than, say, the supplement. Han Hivid, thank you so much for the super chat. The flesh much cometh now. I have so much pain in my body. Yeah, I appreciate the super chat. I appreciate the support. And a lot of people are feeling this. And that's why I come from a place of authenticity. You will experience the solar plexus clearing. You might have, I wish I could have someone like pop my lower back into place. You're going to feel this riveting through the spine. And the annoying one, and I've shared those that have been part of this community for a while, when these solar flash energies pop off, sometimes the vision, I'm more sensitive. We'll say I'm more sensitive to the screens. So the screen time is going to affect you more. I do have the blue blockers because this is part of my everyday life. And that's why I tell people, if you have real life people that you have friends in person, or you have a beautiful maybe girlfriend or boyfriend that you could actually talk to, it's much better than spending time on the screens. But in the modern society, everyone was programmed to be separate. So when you are able to get friends, when you have friendships, when you have community, and then when you have love, wow, all these things have been, it's a total disconnect in the modern society. So, and if you paired this video with yesterday's, you're seeing the bigger picture and how we are moving forward. And some people will refuse to move forward, and that's okay as well. Everyone has to operate out of free will, if that makes sense. The energy. A lot of people, I have a lot of friends in the gym. They see the energy that I have. Okay. So the mitochondria of the body, the mitochondria are light-sensing organelles. So, and there's also good light, and then there's modern poor light. So the more that you're out in the natural sun, in the natural light, the son of God, right? The natural things, the mitochondria, which are light-sensing organelles, are going to get your body flowing. You have the energy along with the foods and all these other things, right? But we don't want to neglect it because and number one, the sun is free, and that's why if you are a person, I'm just trying to assist people. You might be tired, and then you might refer to or lean on a lot of the the fat burners, the energy things, so on and so forth. And I get that. And I years ago when I had to report to work and all these other stuff, it's the modern life. But the more you have the ability to be in the sun, and your mitochondria are running like a well-oiled machine. Really, pretty much on my journey, I just have my morning coffee now. That was not the case. I did a full video on this. I'm trying to improve the lives of others. And we go through phases. All right. So you will be more energetic. You will have more energy and power You will have more energy and power when you're connected to these things and you're living the organic way. I assist a lot of men on their journey. You got to leave the ego behind. And it truthfully is power. All right. And I've seen men, if you're able to, you don't have to be the biggest. I mean, you think about like Bruce Lee, if you're able to channel the chi energy, we all have a natural body structure. And then you will see people that take all these things to alter the natural body structure. There are certain women that take this OOO thing, and it's not about your image, it's about your overall health and wellness. And I hope I inspire you to take the journey of health and wellness. You could click subscribe. I appreciate that, and I'll help you get on the way. All right. So there is high periods of sun when the sun is high in the sky, and then there's the periods of low sun, right? And you know, even like years ago, I view everything from a very deep lens, and it's part of my everyday life. And like on average now, like I will get the midday sun, and that's usually where I just walk. And now that the sun is setting later in the day, I spend a lot of time, like I'll sit and I'll read and do some work out in the low sun. Okay, so that evening sun, it's actually such a beautiful, and I always share with my friends, it's a different vibe. The last couple of hours, even though the sun is not so intense, you're getting your infrareds later in the day. You also could do it in the morning, in the rising, as the sun is rising, because we're rising, we're not morning. Xena, Warrior Princess, I appreciate you. Starting again at a new gym tomorrow. Thank you. I love you, Xena. You are the Warrior Princess starting tomorrow. I appreciate you. I motivate both the divine masculine and feminine on this channel. Click subscribe. See where you are in 3 months. Your whole life will totally change. Okay? So, and I feel this. So you do feel the intensity when the sun is high. All right? But when the sun is lower in the day, all right, there are different benefits. So just like you would eat different foods for different outcomes, all right, a lot of people that are in the modern society, and it's just like clicks and labels and this diet and that diet, but actually in our everyday lives, there's a time for this and a time for that. And your body tells you, I need to have this food. There's a certain nutrient that I need at this time for these ascension processes to continue. I've shared this on my journey every once in a while. Haven't had any weird cravings lately. I had this one craving one time for mushrooms, right? So every time I made my grass-fed beef, I had to have mushrooms with it. Oh, I love the mushrooms. I had to have these mushrooms. And then I didn't want to look at a mushroom, and that lasted for a couple of weeks. So that's an example for you. If you're cold, if there's some kind of food, you go into the grocery store, and maybe there's a certain anything that your body, we're not talking about cravings for cookies and things like that, but if your body is craving a certain type of real food, we'll call them real food. Half of the food in the supermarket is fake food and chemicals and stuff. This is the game of life. My ears are ringing right now. This is the game of life, and you choose. So when you go to the supermarket, and this is where free will comes into play. So I know exactly what to avoid. I know exactly what to ingest. I don't listen to anyone else. I listen to my body. Your body is the tuning fork telling you the truth. How does the sun make you feel? Okay? How does the sun make you feel? So that's why in any aspect of life, I teach everything on this channel. If you are a overall conscious person, this is the channel for you, and the podcast for you, and the world famous videos. We have a powerful one, okay, that was just put out. How does the sun make you feel? Oh, but the TV told me not to be in the sun. The TV made the sun into the bad guy. So that's the program. So you're operating out of the program instead of being connected to the actual natural source. How does your heart feel? Oh, a beautiful sunny day or even a beautiful sunset. How does it make you feel? Right? A lot of people have neglected love, right? In the modern world. I did a couple of episodes on that recently too. How does that man make you feel? How does that woman make you feel? Nah, people go with the programs, right? Got to have this, and this. So the more that you're in tune with your natural senses, these are real, actual things. All right, you do have spiritual senses. Get your clairs up. Get your clairs up, kid. Got to get your clairsentience, right? You feel these, and this process happens as you are ascending and detoxification, getting rid of all the filth that's everywhere in the modern world. You got to detox, got deep cleanse. Got to get in there deep. And when you do that, and then you tap into autophagy, and you're getting back to the natural lights and the natural sounds, the Schumann resonance, right? So that's that natural frequency. And then people could also be tuned into the matrix. So those people belong to Agent Smith now. Okay. I get that question a lot. Why am I having all these ascension? Again, you have to listen to this. All right. I know it's like if you have a big solar plexus purge, it seems like a bad thing, but it's a good thing, because so what that solar plexus purge, you're leaving all that clear of the control system, right? So you have to do this. You want a new kitchen, you gotta bash it apart. And it's terrible for a period of time, but then it's beautiful. Want a new bathroom, right? A lot of people do these things, right? So how do we take these everyday life examples, right? So you got to do it in your body. And there's an overhaul. It's really been happening at an accelerated rate in the past year. And what do we also see in the past year? We see the acceleration of the solar flash energy as we're getting the X's and the M's, right, blasting through us. It's resonating within the DNA structure. The DNA structure is coiled like the Tesla coil. So it's an energy amplifier. And your mitochondria, it's a light sensing organelle, and then you have more energy. And there's a change. There's a process. Now, number one, powerful information-packed episode today. Number one, like if I'm training in the gym with my brothers, right, and we're sharing things. Well, you don't just go into the gym day one and lift all the heavy weight. You're going to have to work up to that. So I get it. You go out in the sun, and maybe you never went out in the sun before, and then your body burns or whatever. Okay, so you do have to work up to that. Earlier on my journey, I learned about sun gazing, and that's later in the day. And when it's like the last half hour, and a lot of people already, you're naturally. How many people go to watch? Even before knowing all this, I just want to look at a beautiful sunset, right? It's natural. It's in your innate. It's in your innate. So, maybe in the beginning I could only do it for 30 seconds or whatever. And now I could literally, whatever, half hour, right? So just like in the gym, right? Just like I'm working out, you got to build up to these things. It doesn't happen overnight. Because your old programming, you're not used to it. You're not used to all these things, right? And that happens with anything in life. You're always going to have to go through a transitional phase. Love is a big thing. A lot of people they can't achieve love because their nervous system is calibrated to a different way, right? So you got to recalibrate the nervous system. Doing this grounding, being out in the beautiful sunlight. This is actually, right, your nervous system is the electricity. Go back to the beginning of the lesson, electromagnetism, electricity, magnetism. If you're disconnected from these natural sources, and again, everyone gets to choose. So you get to choose how you go about your life. And again, there are people that do, you might get this message and you say, I work in the afternoon, but that evening sun is very powerful And again, maybe not so much for the tan and everything, but there are other benefits of that evening sun, especially when it comes to calming the nervous system. That beautiful evening sun. Can you imagine? You sit there with your loved one, and it's the evening sun, and how calm and peaceful that nervous system is. And anyone that's new and that's clicking subscribe today, as we move forward, your nervous system is the key. Your nervous system is the key to everything in your life. It's your nervous system. It's the subconscious. It's your chakra system. So you're spinning wheels of energy. Some of them are not spinning. Some of them are not functioning properly. Some of them are programmed to the control system. And that main thing, that control system always had the fear of the future, which is anxiety. And where do we hold anxiety? In our solar plexus. So the solar plexus is a big, it plays a major role in this event. This is the event you've been waiting for. And the event is the evolution of humanity. We are evolving as a species. It's an evolutionary process. In the evolutionary process, it happens through free will. On my journey, I made my ascension my top priority. That's why I'm here today. And it's not, and God is going to give you opportunities to break free of the matrix. And these windows of opportunities do close. I recently did that video. Know the truth about timeline windows. Quantum shifting is a real thing. I broke it down in that podcast. It's waiting for you. So we are actually, we're going through a thorough reset of the body structures and systems, okay? And that system of the body, right? You have certain cycles, you have processes, right? And you have to do this on a daily basis. That's why it's Our Everyday Lives. Wow, what a concept. Click subscribe. It's a daily process. There's no quick fixes. That's the modern world. There's no, I see the beta males, right? I got to take this thing for the quick. It doesn't last. None of these things last. This is what lasts. In anything in life. You see people that take the quick fix maybe for fame. A lot of people know about that. What happens if you don't walk the straight and narrow for the fame? What happens, huh? So utilize that. A lot of people are studying, right? You look out there. If you're on this, you're on the never-ending quest for truth. What's really going on? What's really going on? Right? I appreciate that, Rebecca. What's really going on? Okay. So there are certain, I'll give you another everyday life example. There are so many people that spend all this money on acne. You get rid of the acne, and the sun actually destroys the bacteria that causes skin acne. I even know a divine feminine. I told her, got to get the makeup off, put that face in the sun, and now that face is clear. Okay, and that's, when you're the person of the family, and you're this is your role. Right. So we're getting the information, and now we push the information to our brothers and sisters. Now we push our information to our parents or maybe our children. And this is how you, the person that's getting this message today, you are that particular person in your family, and you're restructuring, restoring the whole family. Isn't that a tremendous thing? And that's why, I raise up our and guide our divine feminine, right? Not telling you, if I'm giving you information, and I could see the results of other divine feminine that listen to the divine masculine. Don't fall for the image, and you put the sunglasses on and the makeup on, and it's just you got to stop. You got to, if you do have the acne, right? For example. Right. And you go out there, and I've We all like learn these things. If you're putting stuff on your skin, you should be able to eat it as well. The only thing I put on my skin is the coconut oil. And that's it. The same stuff that you would eat in the kitchen. That's it. Some people comment on my skin. It's just the coconut oil. That's it. No fancy product, all this other stuff. So and then remember, you're going out in the sun, you're receiving the light, right? So you don't want to put all that all the chemicals, the toxins, right? All these other things. And then what's the stuff? It's the negative thoughts as well. It's actually important. When you're vibrating high, you're receiving this light, and you're receiving these codes. And it's just a totally different lifestyle. People that understand about sun healing, the term is heliotherapy, and you could look that up as well if you're new and you're interested in this. So in the world right now, so for example, I'm just utilizing this as a teaching tool. As people say, well, why is there people that are going one way or having moving their life one way and in a different way? There are some people that they avoid the sun, and there's people that they understand heliotherapy. And these are the natural lights and sounds. And then there are other things, like my gym has an infrared sauna. I utilize the infrared sauna. Maybe you do as well. But maybe you don't have that event, but you go out in the sun. You have the grounding. There's grounding mats. You could get the grounding mats. I know in your situation, everyone, remember, we're all in a different situation. Maybe you are in the city, right? I had to leave my hometown, right? And luckily, I still had some kind of nature to go to. But maybe right now, maybe you're called to get the grounding mat. All right. So what we have to have things that we could do, regardless of where we are in our life, and we implement them. And there are transitional phases in life. You don't just go from A to B. You have to segue. So maybe you never went in the light. Doesn't mean you go out in the sun. Obviously, you could get burnt if you've never been in the sun for a very long time. But you're building up to it. You go in the gym. You don't lift the heaviest weight in the world. You build up a tolerance to it. Anyone that's worked out. Okay, usually 1 week, very sore. Second week, better, still sore. And then third, fourth week, you're not getting as sore. And then you could either increase the weight. You could, you could do different activities, different angles. So we're constantly shifting, and we're implementing these new modalities because this is the event right now. So you could run. Nobody can hide from this. No, you can't hide from the solar flash. The energies will penetrate the earth. Okay, it's been shown that neutrinos, right, can penetrate the surface of the earth. What's under the ground? What's under the ground? I study nature. A lot of people don't leave their home. Right? You could see it. You could see it. The second that it's the springtime, how did the ants? They're underneath the ground. How did all of a sudden the anthills start popping up? They start popping up. Well, there's information is penetrating through, and the ants start coming up. I have a plant in my home. Look, it's growing towards the window. It's growing towards the light source. Why is the plant stretching and growing towards the light source, not away from the light source? Utilize that and help that guide you on your evolutionary journey. So this is a very powerful message today. It's jam-packed with information. It's going to help guide you. This is the event. It is the total evolution of humanity, and we're going through it, and we have driving forces known as the solar flash and the Schumann resonance. So if today's message resonates with you, if you learned something from it and you would like to assist others receiving this message, would you kindly click the like button? I appreciate that. And you could click the subscribe button. And we have daily videos 9 a.m. Eastern time to help you become the greatest version of yourself. Let's get back into balance. Let's get back into alignment, and let's become the greatest version of ourselves. And that is known as ascension. And we're here. And we're here. This is the moment that we've been waiting for. And you know, you don't have to live your life according to programs, according to the matrix. It's over. And the signs that you get is really in the solar plexus, because that control system of the matrix, you really felt it in your solar plexus. Leave comments down below, any of the things that I discussed, maybe you're experiencing. Maybe you want to share your experience. Everyone's reading the comments section right now. It's our community, and the community helps each other throughout this very powerful evolutionary process. Hope is real. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'm so grateful. The diet for the new earth is sunlight, breath, and water. So important, those three things. Thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah. Even the water is it's so important. Got to stay hydrated. Got to stay hydration is so important. And the processes go back to the mitochondria, all the things that are happening in your cells. Got to stay hydrated. And the more that we're dehydrated, if we're loaded up with toxins and the chemicals, it makes the processes more difficult. So watch my video on how to reset your body for optimal health. Any questions about detoxification, if you want full videos on that, let us know in the comments. I am the defender of our everyday lives. No matter what comes your way, light warriors, just keep going. And here we are at the event. I love you guys very much. Oh, we also have tremendous videos on Facebook. Hit me up on Facebook. We're growing over there as well. I love you guys. Bye for now.